Today, the revolver is one of the most recognized firearms in the world of guns. This picture is a Colt Anaconda, and it's pretty sick. I want to shoot that gun one day. But the revolver didn't become what it is today just off of one prototype and one test and one run through. It took about 3 centuries with hundreds and thousands of different drafts and prototypes, and there was several different people who tried to perfect this. There was numerous fabricators who tried to perfect this weapon. Today I would like to talk to you about the evolution of the revolver and how it became from what it was back in the late 1500s to what it is today. The main contributors to the evolution of this weapon were Hans Strofler, James Puckle, and, as you all know, Samuel Colt, for the Colt Anaconda. Hans Strofler produced the Arqueus. You could go down. Oh no, sorry. That's the pepper gun. That was what the revolver was trying to replace, because that would fire all 6 shots at once. And it was still pretty sick. But it didn't have a revolving chamber, so it would just fire them all at once. You can go down. That's Arqueus. It has a revolving chamber in there, and it could fire, I believe it was 7 shots, and you would need to move the chamber as you would fire, and you would need to fill each one with powder. That way it was able to shoot. And today you can find this gun in the towers of London armories. And this gun was made and produced in 1597. It was really hard to find a good picture for that, by the way. And this is an example of a flintlock, which uses a single lock with a flash pan, which you put the priming powder on, or the gunpowder, for each of the chambers. The cylinder is rotated by hand, and the locks are in place for firing. And then after this gun came about, there was James Puckle, came about in 1718, who made the Puckle gun, which is a revolving chamber gun, which is also considered the first machine gun. It had 11 shots, and it was operated by a hand crane. That's right there. And you would change the cylinders as you reloaded, so it was a quick example of a speed loader, like in common revolvers that would, once you pop all the cartridges out, you put the 6 bullets in again. It's just a lot faster, so it would just take the 11 shots out and put 11 more in. And and it was able to fire up to 63 rounds in 7 minutes, which was really remarkable then, because this is still 1718. It was very impressive, and that was the Puckle gun. And also in 1836, Samuel Colt patented the revolver's mechanism that led to the widespread use of the revolver as we know it today. It had a ratchet pawl mechanism on it, which was used to rotate the cylinder by popping it. So that's the mechanism. So you'll pull the hammer back, and then it'll click, and it'll turn the cylinder for you. That way you don't have to rotate it yourself. So it's like it made it a lot easier to fire the gun. And I believe if it were not for these prestigious men, the revolver we have come to know today would not be quite the same. So I salute you, Hans Strobler, James Puckland, Samuel Colt. You made a difference in this world, and I thank you.
So, Nicholas, what did you think?
I thought he did a great job. He did a good job keeping it funny, and he seemed really knowledgeable about the whole thing. And the only thing I'd say is, it seemed like you had to kind of hunt for things on the paper, but it seemed like you could have just gone off like the top of your head, because it seems like you know a lot about it.
All right. Well, give me a second here.
Why are you there?
That's awesome.
All right, Barry. I like the image and the dramatic statement that you have at the beginning for your attention device. Your topic is very clear from the beginning. I thought you had an excellent statement of what the goal was for your speech, and it's organized. That was a little unclear that it was going to be organized around the three particular names that you presented. I figured that out as you got into the speech, so then it's a little bit clearer, and I think that's a good organizational tool. So the speech is actually very well organized, although your your citations, I was better right the first time. Your transitions between those points were not as clear. You're primarily using the visual to make the transition as opposed to talking about the inventor, what they did, what was innovative about their particular point. You described those things when you got to the pictures, but you're not really talking about the people again and their innovations. It wasn't until you got to Colt that it was a little bit more particular about what contributions that individual made, and you were talking less about the gun and really what was innovative about the particular gun, and I thought that went really well. Source citations need to be given a little bit more. The visuals are all large and easy to see. I know you were complaining. Be careful about complaining about your own visual aids. Don't apologize too much, because it looked fine. The one you were talking about, you said it wasn't large enough, and I think we could see pretty well what it was you were talking about there. So don't undermine yourself that way. I thought it was fine. The presentation, maybe a little hesitant. I think, Nicholas, you want to be careful. You're right, talking off the top, that's good advice, except I think in this situation, you probably made a good decision to stick with what you've got on the page, because the temptation is when you know a subject really well, you start talking about it and you go off on tangents. Sticking to what you've got on the page is better, although I don't think you want to read as much, and I think that's probably the way he was trying to make that advice work for you. And I love the exit. I thought you had a great exit line. I thought that worked really well. All right, thank you.